Good evening. This is Debra V. Wilson in Northern Illinois, just a hop, skip, and a jump from Chicago. You'll have to forgive me as I'm pretty sure I sound a bit flustered because new sounds, and getting used to using uh, my devices in a different environment. With that in mind, I'm just noting that this is probably the fourth time I've attempted to record this. So, as I continue to endeavor to press on, this is the 4th of January 2017. The time is 2300 hours and 2 minutes, and that's GMT minus 6. Yet today I had the actually, no sarcasm, the great privilege to see a BBC Two satirical skit entitled The Housewives of Isis. It's a short little bit, and I saw it in its entirety. I'm pretty sure I did see it in its entirety. Um, what I gather so far is their resounding complaints. Now, when I went, I did some research on the creators, the writers of the skit, to get a sense of who and what they are and what their goal was. And I will post that. I will post the link to the article and with the information on the creators. And there's some mention of one of the goals of this, one of the ethos behind this project was that, and I'm quoting, religious fundamentalism shouldn't be, I'm paraphrasing, I apologize. Religious fundamentalism should not be immune to satire. So their construct of this project, which took the Real Housewives fill in the blank franchise and then ran it through the prism of the reality of some women, young women from the United Kingdom, leaving to join ISIS fighters for marriage or to become ISIS fighters themselves. So within the framing of the modality of the Housewives franchises, the franchise, um, they have the female characters talking about how they look and blowing up somebody, and I've been married to multiple person. It's a lot of narcissism and extremism, but it's as I said, the creators of the project believed this was poking fun at religious fundamentalism. So that is where I strongly objected to the project. Um, I'm aware of the security, some of the security issues. I think it's fair to say I'm aware of publicly stated security issues emanating from the United Kingdom. I'm aware in particular of narratives around security as they relate to extremism emerging from some Muslim communities. So I know the construct of how to be safe, and if we are safe as a nation, it has a strong, it's the Muslims. And I understand. I understand, not saying I necessarily agree with it, but I'm definitely saying I understand. So to watch this satire for me was fascinating because it was through the prism of some real issues we've heard about, of again young women leaving Britain to join ISIS for marriage or to become a fighter themselves, and or. But I would ask you to look at the skit, and I'm asking you to look at the skit and define it more broadly, and at the same time looking at it through a gender lens. For instance, if you actually looked at the skit and listened to it, and if you removed the bits about ISIS and extremism and blowing people up and beheading them, it actually sounds like a real episode of one of the Real Housewives franchises. Just fill in the blank. In particular, I would ask you to utilize the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which takes place in Atlanta, and it focuses on several African American women. I am African American. the show is pretty racist. The women are all oversexed. They're constantly talking about sex. I don't care. Martians could land and the women would talk about sex. It's a hyper focus on the perfection of the body, with the the perfect image being a construct of a particular body type. But it is a goal that people are aiming for, and so there's copious amounts of time and discussion with women who are lawyers and entrepreneurs and all manner of people who only talk about the physicality of their existence and how to perfect it. And then there's a lot of discussion about I'm real, my body is real, yours is fake. And these are adult women. The vast majority of them on the show are 35 plus years old. These are adults. These are not teenagers. So as I watched this skit, and the one woman was sarcastically saying that one of the ISIS brides was fat, and it was going to take a lot of bombs to blow her up because she was so fat. Again, remove the ISIS bit, remove the blowing up bit, you have one of the Real Housewives franchise. You actually have any of them. So what I would say is the brilliance of this, the disappointment for me is this construct that the only time that women are perform these constructed identities is because of religious fundamentalism, and particularly Islamic fundamentalism, is false. It's a false premise. It's just false. When I watched the most recent episode of Real Housewives, there's a business with Yanni balls. I'm not going to provide the link for that. You're going to have to do that yourself. But with two of the characters, women, real people with balls intact, and strings emerging from the nether regions. And we know that because the camera shoots up the bums, and they're bouncing, jumping up and down like rabbits because they're doing this exercise to perfect themselves with these Yanni balls. And and on the other Real Housewives franchises, it's countless surgeries, lips. They all want big lips because, again, African American here, now it's okay to have big lips, so everybody wants big lips. And then the extensions, and then the bleaching if you're dark skin, and the darkening your skin if you're light skin, and the cinching this in and the expanding that out. It's a performance of the latest construct of what is a beautiful woman, a good woman, a desirable woman. I'm not silly enough to believe that a young woman joining ISIS for marriage, knowingly joining a member of ISIS for marriage or to harm people, is analogous to the idiocy, the misogynistic idiocy of the Real Housewives franchises. I understand that, but what I'm saying to you is the modality of constructing identities, rigid identities for marginalized persons, be it of particular ethnicity, particular ability or disability, class, gender, the construction of rigid roles, and then the push to perform. I believe that's the discussion that needs to be had around why are women doing this. Why are young women, I don't care how small the number is, why? How is that the whole process of constructed identities for women? As a Black American woman, nobody told me that I should be smart, analytical, love math, love physics, love statistics, and love analyzing security models, and also enjoy traveling the globe. Yet that's who I am. I decided, in quotes, whatever that is, and whatever that process is, to not conform to the constructed identity of what is an African American woman. I decided, and when I say decided, it's in quotes, I certainly had privilege, education, parents who were very encouraging of me to lead an expanded life. But nevertheless, there was a process in which I decided not to perform the constructed role of an African American woman in her late 50s. So when I looked at this program, which it is distasteful, and I looked at it and I asked myself, well, isn't the bigger question is, what is the process for, not only the development of constructed roles, be a good ISIS fighter's wife and have lots of babies, or be a good ISIS woman fighter, support the cause. Understanding how those roles, how and why those roles historically have been constructed in contemporary spaces, and then why women want to occupy those spaces. Why did the two women on the Real Housewives of Atlanta want to bounce up and down on telly like bunny rabbits with the camera up the bum with the Yanni eggs? Why? Why? Why did they think that that was a space they wanted to occupy? Um, so I'm going to ask that when you look at it, you look at it with the eye of not just saying, well, this is something that has happened to British women or who were lured by ISIS, but what is beyond that? What is the process that's involved in the construction of rigid roles for females, and then the process in which those women occupy those roles. The other thing I would ask you to look at is the constructed roles within the program itself. And one of the constructed roles in the program, well, several of them. One is one of the women, one of the characters is from Birmingham, which is a city full of extremism. So is the constructed identity of the city of Birmingham. It is the wild, wild west of Britain, although it's in the Midlands. And instead of the savage Indians in America, they're the savage Muslims. That's the construct. So that was one of the characters. And then another character that I focused on was the white woman who I took to be the white convert, who is the construct of the savage Muslims taking our white Britishness and corrupting it. And once it's corrupted, then God knows what it's capable of. Watch the program. Watch the program, and I would ask you to think beyond the program, satire and all. Think beyond the program instead of being offended. It's offensive. Don't spend too much time being offended. Instead, look at the bigger picture. Gender constructed roles, how and why they're constructed, and why do, particularly when they're adversarial to self and to others, why are females occupying them? This is Debra V. Wilson in Northern Illinois, just a hop, skip, and a jump from Chicago. Thank you so very much.